no matter how militarily equipped they are, no matter how much money and resources they get from the most powerful nations on earth, they are not invincible. They can be defeated. And so, as we gather today in this International Day of Solidarity in Palestine, we must remember this. We must bear this in mind, that apartheid states, paraforms, separate colonies have been overturned. But how has that happened? It happened because the people who were resisting and the people who were standing in solidarity outside the country were organized. They didn't allow themselves to be swayed. They didn't allow themselves to be cowed. They didn't fall victim to this labeling of terrorism. Speaking of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, a global hero for justice, was considered a terrorist in the United States in 2008. Oh, now they like to pretend like, he was a hero to them. But he was someone who was directly fighting against the interests of U.S. imperialism, and that's why Mandela and others were jailed for decades. And you know something else about Nelson Mandela that you see, because in South Africa, they had organizations like the African National Congress, the Pan-Africanist Congress, and the South African Communist Party that organized in nonviolent actions and demonstrations and movements against the apartheid regime, and for that, they were brutally repressed by that racist apparatus. And Nelson Mandela was a part of an armed wing of the ANC called Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation. And one time Mandela made a speech and he said that even our non-violent organizing was met with violence. And so this violence from the apartheid state, this repression is the very thing that breeds the resistance. We see the same thing in Palestine. The March of Return, the PDS movement, nonviolent strategies and tactics still being met with brutality and murderous cruelty. And so just as in Palestine and South Africa, we understand that colonized people will not be dictated to in terms of how they get their freedom. They will get it any way they see fit. So my friends, be very clear that we have to bear in mind the lessons that history teaches us. If we say that we look up to the Nelson Mandelas of history, if we look up to all the Palestinian heroes of resistance throughout these years and all of their diversity of tactics, then we have to show that same strength, that same steadfastness. We can't let something like a chilly evening keep us from standing in solidarity. If you ask me, it's a beautiful day to struggle. And you know the thing about oppression, it doesn't wait for, quote, good weather. Oppressors oppress you in the blazing sun, in the bitter snow, in the pouring rain, or in the bitter cold. And since oppression doesn't wait for good weather, or resistance to oppression can't wait for good weather, anytime is good for you. And so my friends, as I leave you today, never forget what our duty is. Never forget why it is that we keep coming out in droves, in the hundreds of thousands, week after week after week. Just earlier this month, we brought out 500,000 people to the streets of D.C. to demand our America shaking in its boots. This is what has U.S. imperialism shaking in its boots. In the same way that supporting South Africa became untenable for the U.S. because of the pressure from the movement and resistance, so too, we must make the U.S. connection, relationship with Israel untenable through the pressure of our solidarity. And so we can never forget why we are out here. We can never forget those who came before, those revolutionary ancestors, those people's movements of the past. As we look back at them, they're pointing the way forward toward liberation, toward revolution, towards a free Palestine and an end to U.S. imperialism once and for all. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Intifada! 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 Long live the Intifada! Long live the Intifada! 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 Long live the Intifada! Long live the Intifada! My friends, I'm Sean Blackman from the PSL. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, and let your motto be resistance. Thank you.
Give one more round of applause for the PSL. While our people are still being slaughtered on their own land, they are being starved. Hurrah, Palestine! Hurrah, Palestine! Settler, settler, go back home! Palestine is ours alone! Settler, settler, go back home! Palestine is ours alone! Brick by brick, wall by wall! Zionism will fall! Brick by brick, wall by wall! Zionism will fall! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? And if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it.
I'm about to shut that down. I'm going to talk to you about it. Why, real quick. Love all for Palestine, though. I drip those heart tears, blood. Let me explain something to you. There's barely anybody in that building. So I'm going to shut them down for a second. There's barely anybody in the building right now. Why don't they come here during the day and take the day off work and really piss people off? And as far as calling for all this fucking Antifada shit, that dude doesn't look like he's from Palestine. And check it out. That's some hate speech. Now, Israel never existed as a country until after World War II. And the word Israel is another name for Jacob in the Bible. So Jacob's other name, like Peter is Simon, is Israel. That's Jacob. That was never a country. So, fuck Israel. And it's better money spent if we fed the people in Gaza and figured out a way to end this dumbass shit, except for it's basically an American military outpost that's weird. So, a lot of weird shit to figure out in history and put into a poetic timeline. Right now, those people over there are fucked while our government just sent 14 million directly to Israel. Or 14 billion. 14 billion. To feed everyone in Gaza 8 million meals a day, halal meals a day, at $5 a meal, is $15 billion. Rather than send Israel $14 billion for bombs and shit, why not send $15 billion overseen by governments of international combinations to safely feed the people in the largest open-air prison in the world, which is Gaza? I live in a fucking tent over here. So the sad thing is a lot of people like to fucking complain about all this shit that's going on in the world and walk to their events and to their protests about all the things they want to fix in the world. And they walk right past people living in tents here in Washington, D.C. and ignore us. And go and chant their fucking crazy bullshit for their fucking Facebook meetups. Not really thinking about what they're saying. So they fucking go complain about inhumanity while people live in fucking tents right here in the city, and while people sleep on the sidewalks right over there and on the fucking benches right over there, and trash bags and other weird shit. I'm lucky enough to have tent and blankets and stuff. Some people don't even have a tent or whatever. So if they want to come fucking complain over here at the State Department, it's like waiting till after the fucking it's waiting till after the concert has finished and everybody's gone home, and they stand outside and scream at the stadium for having a concert with a band they don't like, and they don't approve of the band and the music. But everybody already left except for the cleaning staff. They're just pissing off the cleaning staff in the building and causing a bunch of police to block traffic, which I just smoked a fucking joint doing what I just did. So I live in a tent right here. They walked through here watching me change my socks on a bench to go to their rally and watching me eat my bum food on the fucking on the bench in the cold weather, and they're over cheering over there to end them from the mountains to the sea, when that is also Israeli rhetoric for the Palestinian people from the mountains to the sea. You can't both want to just exterminate each other. At some point you have to solve the problem, not fucking light more fuses. Sorry, I live in a fucking tent. I'm hungry and pissed. I'm not really that hungry. Cold though. Fucking pissed. Fuck. America. I'm from America. Hi, my name's Buck. I'm from America. My name's Buck. I'm from America. And I'll fuck you up if you talk shit about Duck Commander or Reverend Horton Heat or Macho Man Randy Savage. I'll fuck you up. Don't talk shit about them holy people. Or you don't talk about the boss, Bruce Springsteen, or anyone in the East Street Band. So I'm from America. Yeah, but I like Ice Cube, so I spell it America. Merikkaa. So fuck you. Hee haw, hee haw. Psych, I'm not really like that. I'm actually all about solving world problems and bringing humor to a fucked up world situation. This is where I live. Kind of sad, kind of true. Kind of sad, kind of true, kind of cool. Not really. I got shopping carts, so I got a lot of shopping carts. I like shopping carts a lot. They're fun. You know what's cooler than shopping carts? Rastafari line of Judah flags. They're cooler too. And hubcaps hanging on trees are cool. And skateboards are cool, and so are BMX bicycles and surfboards and snowboards. And people do flips on motorcycles. And people do flips on motorcycles are the coolest people in the world, and everyone knows it. And if you have a dispute about that, we can smoke tons of weed and talk shit. Or fuck you.